It's the end of hunting season, or deer season here in Florida. And we've got a couple of months to go till spring gobbler season. So, fortunately, we have, from January until March, we have small game season. And I'm looking now at some of my examples of small game guns. At the top, we've got my Mossberg shotgun. 6 rounds, 12 gauge. This one will shoot 2 3/4 or 3 inch. Maybe the same deer you use during deer season and the same one you're going to use during turkey season. All you do is change it out from your buckshot loads or whatever you were hunting with, typically to 7.5 or 8 bird shot, and you're good to go. The drawback to this gun is maybe a little heavier than a lot of people like. Moving on down, we have my Savage 22 Magnum bolt action. It carries 6 shots. It's got a little 3x9x32 Bushnell scope on it. The Bushnell scope, even though they don't hold up on the bigger rifles, they work fine on 22s and 22 Magnums as a rule. The trick with the 22 Magnum, when we're small game hunting with it, and this may be anything, shooting squirrels or edible game, if we want to eat it, we need to shoot the solid bullets in it, not the hollow points or some kind of expanding bullets, because when they expand, they typically do a lot of meat damage in the 22 Magnum. I learned that from an old timer, and so if we're shooting edible small game, then we want to stick with our solid bullets. If we're shooting coyotes and pests, shoot them with the hollow points. Who cares? Because we're not going to eat them. And if we're going to do pelts or something, make something out of them, you better to go with the hollow point, because there's less of a chance of it penetrating all the way through. And below that, we have a selection of rimfire pistols. This is the Ruger GP100. It's unloaded. SP101. It's 22 caliber. Shoots 22 longs. I know Ruger could, and I wish they would, bring this out in 22 Magnum, because that would be a great little gun. This one's got the little green dot sight on the front. Makes it easier to aim. And the pistol's pretty accurate, particularly fired in single action mode. And accurate enough to pop squirrels or other small game 25, 30 yards and beyond. Next to it, we have my Smith & Wesson 422. This is a amazingly accurate little 22 pistol. And it shoots very accurately. It shoots well. The advantage the revolver has over the semi-automatic is it's not pressure sensitive. So I can put my first 2 chambers to fire in this one, load it with snake shot when I'm beating around here in the woods and swamps and all in the warmer weather. Kill snakes with it if I need it to pop a squirrel, coyote, rabbit. Just thumb it over twice. Bring my solid bullets up to fire. That being said, As slim as the little 422 is, it's easy to carry. It's a pleasure to carry. You can carry it on your hip. It stays out of your way. Both of them are excellent little guns. Our third handgun in the selection. This is a Ruger Single 6. Now, I only have the 22 Magnum cylinder with it. With the 22 Magnum and a handgun, you're typically getting about the same velocities, maybe slightly more than you are shooting a 22 rifle. And that's a good thing. You know, the reason I've shot a lot of stuff with the pistol over a rifle or a shotgun, typically, is because when I'm beating around, I always have my pistol on my hip. So it's a matter of simple convenience and opportunity. The little 22 Magnum is an excellent little small game gun here. Again, I'm going to caution you, if we're shooting edible game, stay with the solid bullets. If we're shooting pests, snakes, that kind of stuff, coyotes, various other critters that just need to go, then, give them hell. Shoot the hollow points. Another note to this is the 22 Magnum in a gun like this, while it's not ideal, in the hands of somebody who was proficient with it, it could be a passable or decent defensive gun. Would I prefer it to be a double action revolver? Yes. But, typically when I'm carrying this gun, I'm in the woods, I'm not necessarily worried about that. If I have a problem, yes, I can solve it with this. Why? Because I've shot it enough. I've become proficient with both the single and double action revolvers as well as the automatics. Another one we're going to look at, we couldn't make a video on small game guns without including the 1022 or any 22 rifle, really, for that matter. This specimen just happens to be the little 1022. I've had it about 20 years. The barrel's done in a nickel plating. It's not stainless. Carries 10 shots. Shoots standard 22 long rifle. This one's got a little 4-power Simmons scope on it. I've had it on there for about 20 years. No, I would not normally recommend a Simmons for a big rifle, but it's done fine on the 22s, same as the Bushnells. Been an excellent little critter getter for a lot of years. And this one I also did a hand rubbed oil finish on the stock and stained it in cherry before I did the oil finish. So very unique looking little gun. A favorite of mine for small game hunting is a little single shot 410. This one has a full choke. It'll shoot the 2.5 or 3-inch shells. There's two schools of thought on the 410, and they really come down to what you're going to do with it. As far as a bird gun, probably not the best choice. It's an expert's bird gun because of the shot. Your 2.5 inch loads carry 1/8 of an ounce a shot. Excuse me, 1/2 ounce a shot. And 6s and 8s. And we get 11/16 in the 3 inch. So if we're bird shooting with it, probably not your best choice. If we're hunting squirrels, rabbits, stuff like that, it's been a good performer a lot of years. Some people say because of the small amount of shot in it, it's not an ideal gun to start youngsters with. Well, there's been a lot of youngsters that learn to shoot with a 410 single shot just like this. Would they be better served with a 20 gauge? Yes. Is the 20 gauge ammunition cheaper? Yes. Can you get more varieties of loads? Yes. So, if we're looking at it strictly as a wing gun, yes, it's an expert's gun. If we're looking at something where we can introduce small children, new shooters into small game hunting, squirrels, rabbits, stuff like that, it could be an excellent little choice. So there we have it, and these are some examples of small game guns, and I'll probably do another video with some more of them. So enjoy the small game season. The weather's warming up here. It's not terribly hot. It's not freezing cold. It's just about right to get out and walk some and see what you can find. And, you know, these are what I use quite a bit. I would recommend these to just about anybody. And get out and enjoy some small game hunting, some target shooting, and have fun with it. Later on.